Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to another day of 12 days of Christmas. And as you see, we're gonna get very messy today. I hope you like it, because we are gonna make homemade cold porcelain or clay, whatever you like to call it. And this particular clay is the most easier recipe ever. So I will do a series of different recipes, and I do have my favorites recipes. Some of them you need to cook, some of them, which in this case this is the most simple one because you can pre-mix them cold and you don't need a cook, you don't need a stove, you don't need a microwave. And let me just say something first before we start, that if you're making a cold porcelain at home and you're using a microwave, same as you cooking food for your family, I would not suggest to do that, because the fumes of the clay, the glue, will go inside, you know, on the walls of your microwave, and then later you cooking food for your kids. They can get sick. So I would suggest use, if you're using a microwave recipe, use microwave. You know, some people, like for example here in Canada, you can find on the side of the road, like just people giving away for free. Or you can buy very cheap one for just the crafty purposes. I did make a one-time recipe like long time ago, and I used microwave, and was smell horrible, but I did washed with soap after that. But I would suggest to use like totally microwave just for your crafty goodies, something a little cheap, you know, don't have to be big. Or if I use recipe cooking on a stove, I have in here in my craft room, actually I have a pan and a pot that I keep in my craft room, and utensils that I'm not using with food at all, just for craft. So separate your utensils, and as you can see, I'm using this reusable containers. This one actually from cheese, Asiago cheese, and that's the best containers to mix little portions. And I'm storing my cornstarch when I box already almost empty, and I just put in this little containers from sour cream, all those little plastic containers that you throwing away or recycle. I kind of, some of them I wash them and store in my storage room, and then I use them like this for craft, and then I just throw them away, or even later seal clay and just store clay inside of this, wash, you know, with water, and that's it. So let's start with very simple recipe. What we need, we will need, I have here a full cup, doesn't matter what cup you're using it, so you always count 1 to 2. So if it's a 1 full cup of cornstarch, we will use half of the cup of glue. And I'm using glue, this one glue, tacky glue. I bought it in liquidation craft store, and this glue is really, I'm gonna show you the consistency. It's thick, it's not very liquidy, it's thick consistency, and I think it's the more like a thick, not liquidy glue, that your clay or cold porcelain will feel, and it's gonna be much better. Now I do have here white oil paint, and why not acrylic? Because acrylic has lots of water in it, so I like to mix with oil so there's no water involved in a clay, which you can do both water or acrylic or oil paint, but I always use oil. I find it's better. And then we need a little bit of baby oil or any other oil which you have. So let's get started. And this is, guys, very simple. And if you like me continue with the other recipe that's more complicated but is absolutely amazing, and I have buckets and buckets of different recipes that I already made, and I see that it's still good even after 1 year that I made them. The project, it still is good. And you saw my poppy flower in the other video. that is look absolutely gorgeous, and that was one of my homemade. So I thought, let me share with you guys. So I put in container because it's gonna be easy to mix because it's a little container. And then I pour in here all this, half of the cup of the glue. And there's never no, depends on consistency of your glue. You might will need a little bit more cornstarch, but to start, just use 1 part of glue and 2 parts of cornstarch, and you're not gonna mess up your recipe. And later on, you just, you know, add as much as you need it. If happens to be your glue a little bit more liquidy, then you will need to add a little bit more of the cornstarch. Okay. Because I know some of you, well, not some of you, lots of you like to make a project from clay. And this recipe just so easy to do, and you don't have to, you know, stay by the stove and burn, because it's tricky as well to make a cold porcelain by cooking, because if you overcook, then your clay gonna be like rubber and really hard, and you're not gonna be able to do anything. So we're done with this glue. I'm gonna put aside. And then right now I'm gonna add a little bit of this oil. Now, why we need this white paint? Because if you're gonna make, this one's still new, if you're gonna make some project and you not put any color into it, after a homemade clay dry, it will be translucent looking like. So you can, even if you add later color, the color not gonna be as good, and it's still gonna be like translucent look. So I'm just gonna swirl just like that, you know, not much, just a little bit, just to add some color. And I'm gonna add in here. Okay. And we're gonna start mix. So this paint and glue will incorporate right now. And this is just like the easiest, guys, recipe with no headache. Just mix and mix. And I just, like I say, if it's happened to be you put too much cornstarch, you just add a little bit more glue. You can't go wrong with this recipe. When you cook on a stove, yes, if you overcook, that's it. Your clay gonna be ruined. So let's just mix and mix and mix. And my glue might be too thick. I don't know if I will need to add more of the clay glue. I don't know. We're just gonna mix it longer. I don't want to stick my hands inside yet because it's gonna be way too dirty right now. And I'm using a wooden stick, like a craft stick that I bought from dollar store, and I just mix and throw them away instead of using a spoon. And I do have a spoon as well, just for craft, just for the mixing the clay if I have to. I do not use anything in my craft that I use later for food. I try to keep my family safe. I hope you're having fun, everybody. The Christmas just right in the corner, winking at us. Santa is coming. Okay, I don't know, it may be a little bit too thick. Maybe I didn't put too much. I'm just gonna add a little bit more glue because this cup's not really straight, so the bottom of the cup is yeah, thinner, like not as wide. So I think I'm just gonna add a little tiny bit, maybe like tablespoon or so, and then I will see later on if I need some more or not. Okay, just mix a little bit more. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now to do this thing better, now I'm gonna now if you're gonna use this recipe like right away, right, then this is all you need. If you wanna store your clay a little bit longer and you don't want, I'm just put baby oil on my hands. If you wanna store clay a little bit longer, then you guys need to add a little bit of vinegar, maybe like teaspoon, or lemon juice. That will prevent your clay from getting moldy and change the color. So that's kind of important. But because we're gonna use, and you know, we can, okay, I'm just gonna squish a little. Telling you it's gonna be messy. I just wanna put pieces together for now, and I'm using my crafty glass so I can clean from. You can use actually even like a paper plate, would be easier to mix. I should use a bigger cup. I have my big container, like one like a plastic with the lid. I usually mix bigger portions in here, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna put in here on my board. And then I have to clean it later. And I'm gonna start mixing. If it's too sticky, you can add more baby oil. But we have to just incorporate this first, this glue with the cornstarch. So you really have to mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it. And if it's too thick, like I say, you can add more glue. This glue I have kind of forever, so maybe consistency a little bit too thick. So I might just gonna add a little bit more. Yeah, I didn't use this glue for a while. So as you can see, like before I used the same recipe, and I did pretty good from the first time, but I use by 1 tablespoon and 1 tablespoon of glue, and I used 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So I mixed with the spoon, so that way the consistency, I mean the measurements was more precise. And now with the cup, I have to have like a cup more equal size, and then, you know, top a little bit more wider. So I guess that's why I got cornstarch a little bit more. I shouldn't add maybe a whole thing of the corn, and just leave a little bit to see if I need it. But that's what we're gonna do. We just have to get messy to end up with something pretty. And as I say, I already made this recipe before, and it's pretty good, and it's been staying in my container for I think almost 1 year. And I checked the other night and it was still good. So obviously it's a good recipe if you're making it right, and there's really no headache how to make it, because it's easy to make. The consistency start to, as you can see, it start to form. Start to form the ball. We just have to really get the glue soak in to the cornstarch. Okay, start to get a little, you see, start to get squishy. And you can add a little bit of cream, some kind of like a fat cream that doesn't contain too much water. maybe some of your body cream, not a body cream, but like a facial or hand cream that thick, that will work too. But at the same time, if you have to, you can add even more, a little bit of baby oil, which I'm gonna put more, a little bit on my hands because it's sticky. I'm just gonna put a little bit more just to have this clay not to stick to my hands. And okay, you can see it's already, it starts to form. You just have to mix a little bit longer. Now every clay after you make, you have to wrap it in a plastic wrapping, how you call it, the one that you wrap in a food, wrap and lay down, well, at least they supposed to be like 12 hours or even few hours would be okay, just so the glue soak in all the way to the cornstarch. But you can mold, make some flowers already, like it's ready. But I would suggest you put down, you wrap it good, and then you will have better clay after all this corn and glue and all our ingredients incorporate properly between each other. But look at this, it's already, it's kind of thick because I make it thick. Let me just grab a little piece in here. It's kind of easy to work with smaller piece because I want to show you. You see that? I can feel the cornstarch still here, so you just have to, you know, knead a little bit. I would probably even, I don't know if I would put more glue, not maybe right now, but I would lay down this to make sure it's all, get all those ingredients together. But let's just, for curiosity, I'm just gonna put a little bit on my hands right now. I'm gonna wrap this baby oil in my clay. So here it is, my clay. Let me squish a couple more minutes. I'm gonna rip a little bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna make a bowl. And I'm gonna wrap in this clear plastic. And I will let this sit for, well, till tomorrow, because I'm not gonna do nothing now. And I'm just gonna put right now in this container. I will clean up that later mess. And I'm just close lid so it's airtight, and my clay not gonna get hard. So let's see. I wish I could wash my hands first, but let's just see what we can do with this one. If you can make some petal. Oh, I don't have my clay in here with me, but let me just grab it quickly, my tool. Hold on, guys. Okay, we're just gonna try. I have this plastic tool, and if I squish this to make it like a flower petal, okay, and then I gonna do this. Well, this is not really right tool to do, but I mean, you can, or even like this, to make it kind of like a vein. Okay. So, and I'm gonna leave this like this to dry, so I can see the consistency tomorrow. And this is like, I didn't make it very thin, but I mean, it's shapeable, and as you can see, it's fresh, but it's holding the lines already, so that should be work good, you know. And now if you have a time, guys, just a minute, let me just grab a little leaf of my plant that I have actually in here, if it's gonna be good or not. Well, this one I have like a from my flower, but it doesn't see very much of the thing. But let's just try to print and see how it's gonna, if you're gonna see anything. It's coming out easy. Well, not much, but anyway, you can shape it. It's shapeable. You can make it very, very, very thin. So here you go. That's your very simple recipe number 1, called porcelain. And let me know if you tried this one. It's very this is the easiest one. We will go to some complicated recipe that you will need a little bit more stuff than just a glue and cornstarch, but that recipe will be flexible, and I just need to prepare myself more. But this is like the very, very simple thing to do. So now I'm gonna leave this for overnight, and I will check my consistency tomorrow morning if I have to add a little bit more glue or not. But that's it, guys. This is very, very simple recipe for you to practice. And thank you very much, and I see you in my next episode of 12 Days of Christmas.